Okay, so the introduction to the Zohar. This is a book. It's an introduction that was written by Rabbi Ashlag to his Sulam commentary on the Zohar. However, it doesn't really. The purpose of this article is more addressing the most fundamental questions in life, and trying to answer them. So at the outset, Rav Ashlag provides a 5 fundamental questions, right, which are set out, which, if we analyze them, are basically questions we all have about, and any person who takes life seriously and will think these questions. Okay, these are, and they are actually in a way all related, as we will see. So the first question is, where did we come from? What is our nature? What is our essence? Where are we coming from? Number 2 is seeing that mankind is such a small part of reality, or the whole of existence. What role do we play in the grander scheme of things? Number 3 was, we each see our flaws. We each see how we are flawed, people, and we need to improve ourselves. Yet how can flawed creation come from a flawless creator? The creator is completely perfect, yet how can imperfection come from him? Number 4 was assuming that the creator is good, which is the general assumption, right? Hashem, the God, is completely good. He has absolutely no evil intent or any evil aspect, in him. Yet why do we all need to, it seems that every single human being that lives in this planet has to go through incredible amounts of suffering in their lifetimes? Why is it that the creator can't make our lives good? Since he is a good God, why is there evil in the world? Why is there evil in our lives? At least things could be made not so bad. People don't have to experience all the bad that they experience. At least he could remove some of it, but that doesn't seem to be the case. And number 5 is, how is it possible that mortal, finite, perishable beings can come from the immortal, eternal, and infinite creator? Yep. So that's obviously something that really puzzles us. So in order to answer these questions, we will now have to go through 6 investigations. So understanding these questions, the first, at the outset, we need to investigate how it is that this creation that we see before us is an entirely new creation, which means that it is something that did not already exist in the creator. Okay, because we say in the Torah, in our sages explain that this world was created yesh me'ayin. God created the world, something from nothing. But what does it mean that something can come from absolute nothingness? That God can just manifest a creation out of complete nothingness that didn't already exist within himself, right? Because Hashem is infinite. He's Ein Sof. It includes every single thing, and he encompasses everything. So how can there be something that now comes that did not already exist within, him? And the second investigation is, if we assume that Hashem, that the creator, happens to be so omnipotent, all powerful, that he can do this thing and create something that doesn't already exist within himself, then what is this new creation? Again, this question is assuming, taking an assumption that the creator has the power to manifest something that can't already initially exist within himself, then what is the nature of this creation that he has now made, which didn't already exist within himself? And the third investigation is about what the Kabbalists say, that the soul is chelek elokam mimal, is a portion or a part of God above, which means that there is no separation, or no separation between him and the soul. Yeah, if you take something as a part of something else, the only thing that's different is that one is the whole thing and the other thing is now a part of it, right? Just like if you were to cut a stone out of a mountain with an axe, The only thing that's now separate about those two things is that one is the whole, meaning the mountain, and the stone is now just a part of that mountain that has been separated. And the fourth investigation is, how is it possible that the Sitra Achra and the Kilipot and all that we call evil, which are the most distant things from the Creator, comes out and proceeds from and is sustained by the Creator's holiness and goodness and right? So that's something that needs to be investigated, is that if there's Sitra Achra and evil in the world, it doesn't come from nowhere. This evil obviously is also created by the Creator, and it has to be sustained by the Creator. So how can we understand such a thing? And number 5 is about, the fifth investigation is about the resurrection. If the body is such a hateful or contemptible, should we say, thing, which is destined to die and decay, why does it need to now rise up again? Why does it also need to have to come back with all its blemishes, and then only that it should be healed by Hashem? And there's our sages say in the Gemara that we only come back blemished so that we don't mistake each other for not being who we were in our lifetimes, right? If someone had a broken arm or a wonky, whatever it is, or blind or whatever, and then they suddenly came back out of the dead and they didn't have those infirmities, then we could get confused. This is the worry, is we could get mistaken. That's that this person is not the same that he was before, that when he was alive in the world. But why should the Creator care about that? That we might not be the same. Why do we need to be healed only after we, resurrect? Then the sixth investigation is, what does mankind have for all of the upper and the lower physical realities? Yeah, it says in the Gemara, in Sanhedrin, that there's an obligation that everyone must have to believe that the entire world was created for their sake, for my sake alone. The entire world, every single person has to have that individual belief that, this is what's called solipsism, actually, in philosophy, is that I believe that the entire world is created for my sake alone. Yet, and I'm the only person really that exists, and everything else is just for me. Yeah. So this is actually an obligation we have in the Gemara, which is very interesting. But what possible need do I have for the entire physical world and the upper spiritual realities, worlds, sephirot, parts of theme, angels? What do I have? What do we need with all of this? What's the relationship between that and myself? And then, so to start answering these questions, the first investigation, Rabbi Ashlag quotes what is said in Eitz Chaim, at the very beginning of Eitz Chaim, that the purpose of creation was to benefit the Creator's creation. Yeah, the purpose of God creating a creation was that he wanted the creation to enjoy of the goodness and abundance that God wanted to give to it, and the fulfillment that God wanted to give to it. The desire to receive of that goodness is the thing that was newly created, because in order to benefit from God's goodness, we had to have a desire to want of that goodness. And this was the davar chadash, the new thing that was created that didn't already exist in the Creator, right? Because God cannot have a desire to receive, since God precedes every possible thing that, time, space, everything. So nothing came before the Creator to make him want to, desire to receive from anything else. Who else can the Creator receive from? There's no possible aspect of desire to receive that can possibly exist in the Creator. So obviously this is something completely new that has been created, that never even existed in the Creator to begin with. A desire to receive goodness, pleasure. Now, the desire to receive, which we are calling neshamot, right? This creation is neshamot, and or vessels, kelim, keli, neshama, and shamot. Okay, and so the neshamot can only receive in proportion to the desire, to their desire to receive of that goodness. Okay, to the extent that the desire is lacking or is small, the pleasure will be much less. To the amount that I'm hungry for, a meal, I will enjoy the food, and to the extent that I'm thirsty and I have a thirst for water, I will enjoy the water. And to the extent that I'm now fulfilled and I'm full, I will not, enjoy that drink or the meal or anything, I won't enjoy it. So this is how the vessel works. The light works in proportion to that. The light will only give the creator, will only give his fulfillment to the exact amount that is being requested, not any more, not any less. The creator will not give more abundance and pleasure into the vessel than what the vessel can cope with, meaning what it's desiring, because it can only cope with what it desires at that time. And if the vessel desires less, then the creator will not give it more than what it desires, or it can therefore handle. The creator cannot give more than what the vessel can cope with. That's what I said, yeah. Okay, so then the second investigation is the difference of form. We spoke about, so we spoke about the differentiation of our the difference of form, right? That we have, meaning, can someone else just so we spoke about the Dalit, the two systems, one of purity and the one of impurity, which enables the body and the soul to exist simultaneously with each other together, right? Because the soul comes from holiness, from the God, yet we have a desire to receive, which is coming from the body, the bodily desires. And these bodily desires come from the Ma'arachat Hatuma'ah, the impure system, which has a desire to receive. It's all about Ratzon Lekabel, will to receive. And the system of purity has absolutely no will to receive whatsoever. It's total Ratzon Lashpa'ah, the desire to influence, or to bestow. And the soul comes down through the olamot of Abiyah, Aleph, Atzilut, Beri, Yetzirah, Asiyah, of Kedusha, until it comes down into the body of a person, right? And now it has something to start to fix, which is this bodily desires, right? Now, how do we fix it? And we explained this is why we need the Torah and the mitzvot. By applying ourselves through Torah and mitzvot, lishma, from the age of 13 onwards, we begin to draw upon ourselves this holy soul from the upper worlds. And we explained what lishma was. Again, it's something that doesn't necessarily happen exactly at the, okay, it's something which is, which requires a lot of inner work, to get to the state of lishma anyway. And when you begin to observe Torah and mitzvot in such a manner where it's totally, to give nachat ruach to the creator, etc., then you begin to elevate yourself step by step, spiritually. Let's just use the words of Rabbi Ashlag here. By occupying himself with the mitzvot from the time he becomes 13 years old, which he does in order to give pleasure to the creator, he begins to purify the will to receive for himself that is implanted in him, and gradually transforms it into imparting or sharing to others. And through this, the holy soul then has its roots in the thought of creation. This is how the soul then begins to proceed. Then it passes through the worlds of holiness, where it becomes clothed in a physical body, and this is the time of tikkun. And it proceeds to acquire and achieve the levels of holiness that the thought of creation, and this helps man to transform the Ratzon Lekabel, the will to receive for himself alone, that he has in him, to receiving for the sake of sharing. Now he is able to start receiving and pleasure for the sake of giving pleasure to the creator. And we can see this example in Kedushin, in the Masechet Kedushin of a Adam Chashuv, that a woman marries an Adam Chashuv, and she ends up giving him the ring or the money, and he's the one who says the Harei li Mekodeshet, and then she's betrothed. For although she is supposed to be receiving the money, his receiving it in order to give pleasure to the woman is actually considered sharing actually to her. He's giving her so much nachat that, wow, I'm marrying such an important man. You know, it's a pleasure to give him the money, and actually she ends up receiving this pleasure. So this is how we can do the same thing to the Creator. By us receiving of his goodness, we actually end up imparting, sharing to the Creator. And it says this is how we completely acquire complete dveikus gamor. A complete dveikut, which is a similarity of form with the Creator. And he says this is the whole matter of the Gemar Tikkun. And he says that when we achieve a state of similarity of form, ishtavut atzura with the Creator, then there will be no need for the sitra achra, and the impurity and death will be consumed from the earth forever, as it says bila mavet netzach. And this is why we have the 6,000 years to do our constant work of Torah and mitzvot. And each of us individually have 70 years of our life to do it in and to transform ourselves. And this is the whole reason why the existence of the klipot, the shells of impurity, exist. And this is why they derive from the holiness of God, because they exist only for the sole purpose to give us the ability to transform ourselves. So Hashem, that by necessity, requires the impure side to exist. And that's basically, otherwise, it says, how would it be possible for us to correct something we do not possess? How would it be possible if we didn't have an impurity and a desire to receive? How would it be possible for us to correct it? So of course we need it, and therefore the Creator created it. And then we got up to Yud. Yud. Let me check on my book because it begins the next chapter. I think it was Yud Tet even. B'chochma, Krishna. Or was it Yud Bet? No, sorry, Yud Bet. Hatanaim hanichutzim b'derech limud haTorah. I'm probably reading the wrong. Oh no, I'm reading the wrong Hakdama. Sorry. Okay. In the Hakdamat Zohar, we got up to Yud Gimel. Sorry, yes, Yud Gimel, which is there. Omnam. Okay, he wants to start. Maybe I'll start reading it because I would get everyone else. Okay. Omnam adayan nisha'al lanu lehavin. However, there still remains something for us to understand. A question that is left unanswered. Sof, in the end, Kevan shaharatzon lekabel atzmo. How is it that the ratzon lekabel, for the self alone, who call kach fgum umikulkel, which is so imperfect and destructive, or damaging, defective, should we say? Ein yatsa v'haya b'machshava sabriya be'ein sof baruchu. How is it that such a thing can be even within the thought of the endless, the Creator, the endless light of infinity? Blessed be He. Shela achduto ein haga umale la'acharota ein haga umale lefarsha, who cannot be explained by any words or any explanations, any thoughts, right? The meaning, sorry, his unity, the unity of Hashem cannot be explained by any word or any thought. Hashem is unified in such an unbelievable manner, right? Echad, Yachid, Umiyuchad. V'inyan hu ki be'emet takef behamachshava leboro'a et haneshamot hayta machshavto yitbarach gemuret lahakol. And the subject is This idea is as follows: that truthfully, or in reality, as soon as there was a thought to create the neshamot, the souls, this thought completed everything that was to be created. Just the thought alone of Hashem to create neshamot, hayta machshavto yitbarach gemur hakol, ki eino tzarich lekeli maaseh kmono. For the Creator, Hashem Yitbarach, does not have any need of keli, meaning tools, like we do. V'teikav yatzo unit havo kol haneshamot v'kol haolamot ha'atidim lehavraot meleim b'chol hatzov v'anug v'ha'oneg v'aruch shechashev ba'adan. But all of the souls and all of the worlds that were, going to be created, full of all the kinds of goodness and pleasures and gentleness that Hashem thought for them, im kol tachlit shlemutan, with all of its complete perfection, hasofit ba'nishamot hatidin lekabel gamre hatikun. They all came immediately. Everything that Hashem desired, that Hashem wanted us to experience, the neshamot, filled with all of their pleasures and their perfections that the soul were to attain at the end of the correction. Dainu acher sharatzon lekabel v'neshamot kaval kabel kol tikuno b'shlemut. That is to say, after this ratzon lekabel that is within the souls has been fully corrected completely, unithapech lehiyot hashpa'a tehora, and it has been completely transformed into pure sharing, pure imparting, b'hashva'at hatzucha hagamru el hamatzel yibarach, into complete form of equality of form with the Creator, blessed be He. V'hu mitam, and this is the reason ki b'nitzchiyuto yitbarach ha'ever v'atid v'hava v'hashemashim ka'achad. This is the reason that the eternity of Hashem, past, present, and future together, Vatid mishamash lo kahava, and the future is also part, and the future is also part of the present. Ve'ein inyan mechusar. Ve'ein inyan mechusar zman noheg bo yitbarach. The whole aspect of time, of the restrictions, the dimension of the restrictions of time caused by it, have no relevance for the Creator, for Hashem. The Zohar, it says here, referred to Zohar Mishpatim Ot Nun Aleph, Zohar Chadash Bereshit Ot Ramag. It's in the Zohar Mishpatim and Zohar Chadash. So just to summarize, to explain what that says, is that when Hashem, the Creator, thought to create souls, that thought alone completed the whole of creation, complete with, meaning Hashem didn't need to use a tool, He didn't need to use, materials and start laying out a plan and start, putting some bricks. No, none of this was done. It was immediate. As soon as He thought that that there should be a creation, and that this creation should be fully, perfected and completed with all of their corrections and in a complete corrected state. This is the saying of Sof Maaseh Machshaveh Tchila, that at the beginning of creation, even the end was seen. So That means that all of the goodness that we were going to experience and the gentleness, everything came into existence together with the final perfection that we are going to attain at the end of our corrections, meaning right the way when we have completely become equal with the Creator and transformed. Everything came immediately at once. This is the reason for the eternity of Hashem, the nitzchiyut of God, past, present, and future together. Yeah, Hashem is echad, yachid, unified. Yeah, in a wondrous unity, in an unbelievable miyuchedet, in a unique unity, meaning that past, present, and future are completely together with the Creator. Future is also part of the present. Unbelievable. We can't even imagine such a thing, can we? The full dimension of time and all the restrictions have no relevance for the Creator whatsoever. Wow, this is powerful. Can't even imagine such a thing. Tamzei lo haya klal inyan haratzon lekabel hamikulkel beturat afruda be'ein sof baruch hu. This is the reason for the whole defective will. For this reason, this whole ratzon lekabel, which is defective, yeah, was never in its form of separation. Was never in its form of separation. Or it's shinui tzura, it's tzura difforda, from part of the endless, blessed be He. Meaning that it was never separate. The whole Ratzon Lekabel was never even separated from the Creator. On the contrary, it says that the equality of ela lehifach. On the contrary, she'ota hashva'at atzucha ha'atida lehagalut b'gamar atikun. On the contrary, this similarity of form that will eventually become manifested at the end of the tikkun process, hofia techaf b'nitzchiyuto yitbarach. This became manifested immediately in the eternity of the Creator. Va'al sod hazeh amru chazal in Zohar Chadash, Breshit, kodem shenivra ha'olam hayahu u'shmo echad. This is why our sages in the Zohar say that before the world was created, He and His name were one. Ki hatzura hafruda shebaratzon lekabel lo nisgalta klal b'mitziut haneshamot. Because this differentiation, this separation of form, where was I? Sorry, yeah, it was in accordance with secret. Hang on, have I said this correctly? Yeah, this is so in the Zohar it says Kodem Shadbara Alam Hayahu Echad Ushma Echad. Before Hashem created the world, He was one and His name was one. Because this separation of form that is contained within this Ratzon Lekabel, Lo Nitzgalta Klal Nitzyud Neshamot. It was never revealed, it never appeared in the state of the souls that came into existence through the thought of creation. Meaning when Hashem created the souls with that immediate thought, there was never it seems to suggest that there was never a desire to receive that appeared in the souls at that time.
Well, it's a little nuanced. He's not saying that there isn't a desire to receive. He's saying that the desire to receive
didn't separate.
Is of the form of the Gemara Tikkun, meaning it's entirely for the sake of sharing.
I see. So there was a desire to receive, but that desire to receive was totally in the state that we discussed in the chapter before, that it was a sharing state, and therefore it wasn't separated from the Creator. There was no separation of the vessel of the souls from the Creator. It didn't cause a problem.
There's a lot of questions about this, but let's kind of go through it quickly.
Yeah, there is a lot of questions, but what he's suggesting just by this text, this paragraph, is that the fact that there was a desire to receive did not become a problem or a barrier or separation between the souls and the Creator. Okay. Now, obviously, that needs a lot of explanation, because how can that be? Because the desire to receive is in opposition of form, but it didn't cause a separation of soul and Creator at this point, at this primordial point of creation. Okay, they were wondrously bound together. Yeah, this is the bit that leads up to Tzimtzum, because Tzimtzum is basically when the soul, I guess, separated from the, okay, I don't want to get too far, but that's basically
it's complicated because Rav Ashlag makes very clear in Talmud Sfirot that the Tzimtzum did not happen because of difference of form.
right, but
He stresses it repeatedly.
I'm guessing that it's the Tzimtzum that led to it.
What do you mean that led to it?
The Tzimtzum that caused the separation, the whole acts that we're talking about, where
No.
the soul cuts off away from the Creator, is that not Tzimtzum?
At least not in Perek Aleph. It's very unclear.
Okay.
Because Rav Ashlag, Michael quotes this when he's explaining Talmud there in Talmud Sfirot. I don't want to go into it too much, but he says basically that the Tzimtzum did not happen because of any aviyut. It didn't happen because the vessel felt like it was a receiver.
Okay.
But Rav Ashlag also says that it wanted to reveal the form that it would have after the Tzimtzum. But the question that I have is, if it was already in Hu Shmo Echad, why did it need to restrict? Meaning, basically, Rav Ashlag says that we all felt, even though we were completely unified, we wanted to get closer. And so the way that we wanted to get closer was we wanted to have less desire.
Yeah.
Even though that's a little bit of a contradiction, because the Malchut is the biggest desire and it's also the biggest sharing.
Yeah.
So it's a difficult concept.
Yeah.
That it's not so simple, and Michael basically said that you have to understand that this is he raised the question and then he left it alone till next time. He quoted this and he said that on one hand, there's a part of the Ein Sof that's Hu Shmo Echad, because the vessel is already in the state of the end of the correction. Because there's no time, space, and motion. On a different part of the Ein Sof, the vessel is not in Hu Shmo Echad, or it's in Hu Shmo Echad, but it's not like Ein Sof, which is something that we can't understand. And he said that if you study the Ramchal and you study the other writings of Rav Ashlag's other students, it explains more there, but he didn't go into very length.
Very interesting.
I mean, it's in the Talmud Sfirot on Yukabala, but it's a little.
Yeah.
It's a little. I don't. Yeah. Let's just keep going. I don't want to get too.
Let's not get too caught up. Okay. So
there's a lot of paradoxes.
I see.
If it was already you understand my question? My question is, if it's already unified, why did the Tzimtzum happen?
Yeah.
And the Tzimtzum, Rav Ashlag stresses, is Tzimtzum did not happen out of the vessel feeling ashamed.
No.
And
it happened because the vessel wanted to become even closer to the Creator.
Yes, but if it was already Hu Shmo Echad, why did it need to come even closer?
Yeah. Well, there's that whole 4 phases that happens, right? And then it goes.
No, but this is at the end of the 4 phases.
Yeah, right at the end of the 4 phases. Then the level of Malchut wants to equalize its form with that of.
But the Tzimtzum that happened.
it restricts, it rejects all of the light out, and then that's what causes Tzimtzum.
Yes, but that's not.
The creator kind of acquiesces to that request. It says, okay, you don't want so much light, so I'm going to diminish it, and that's
But
Tzimtzum.
that's still not. That's still an
Not
insult.
explained.
That's
Yeah, it's still a mystery.
it's
Why?
still that's the thing that was very difficult for me and my dad, is that is still an insult.
Yeah.
By the way, both of our friends fell asleep.
What do you mean? Okay, so just to finish the paragraph.
Are you recording, by the way?
Yeah. Just this, not everything, just the bits that are relevant.
Just
Yeah.
the new stuff.
כי הצורה הנפרד ברצון לקבל לא נסגלתה כלל במציאות נשמות שיצא במחשבה סברייה. This did not separate the souls from the thought of the creator, אלא הן היו דבקות בו בהשוואת הצורה. Never the thought, but rather they were closely attached to him in this similarity of form. In the secret of he and his name are one. V'ain al yedei betalmud. V'ain, and see there in Talmud it says Sfirot and Anaf Aleph, in the place in the Talmud it says Sfirot, which discusses this, which is what we just discussed.
Let's just, Yosef, maybe if you want privately, we'll continue to discuss it. I don't want to go too far into it and get lost.
Okay, let's end the recording.